Hi, this is Ken with KRCIMS.com. How you doing today? I want to show you a little base that I made. It's out of slate, LEDs, and a piece of float glass. And real simple to make, so I'll just kind of take you through the steps here. And this is the finished product. So starting off, I took my piece of glass and measured out the width and the height of it. And if you kind of take a look here, the center line is not actually the center line in that of this particular glass this way, and the reason for that is part of this is going to sit about 3/8 of an inch into the base. So in order to actually center it in the glass, I had to do the offset for that 3/8 of an inch setting down there in the base. Here I went ahead, I cut out my stencil and I got it lined up. And this here I've got as my registration marks. Usually on such a small piece I don't do this, but somebody wanted to see what I meant by registration marks. So on the back here you can see I've got my center line marked, and in the next photo this is where I've got it marked on the edge, so that when I peel back the transfer tape I'll be able to get this centered up this way, as well as the height on it. Okay, now I've got it in my sandblast booth after I've got it all taped off and ready to go. And these little pieces of tape here are covering up the registration marks that I had in there. But I went ahead and folded over some masking tape. This blue tape works the best. It's a paint mask, it's a paint tape. A little more expensive than the standard Scotch tape, but very well worth the price. And here's my pab gun. It's got the 1/4-inch hose into it and feeding off my pressure pot. I'm using 180 grit silicone carbide for grit, and I blast that about I think I blasted this one about 35 psi, and this is 3mm paint mask here is what I used on this. This is after I got done blasting here and taking a look at these, well, for lack of a better word, gray areas. You can kind of see, I may have been a little light in that area, but you can tell where I've gone through and I've blasted in through here. And some of the darker areas, they're going to be a little bit deeper within the carving. So that's kind of something that you can take a look at when you're sandblasting using silicone carbide, especially. The aluminum oxide, if I remember correctly, does the same thing. But so that's just right after I sandblasted it there. I took it over and I cleaned it off and put it up on a piece of black felt there, so I can kind of inspect it and make sure that I didn't have any scratches or anything in it, because if I did, the next step I'd do would be I'd take it over to my polisher and polish out the scratches. Now what I did here is a piece of self-adhesive felt, and in the next picture you'll see what I do with that. What I do is I fold that over on the edges here, and this will actually fit down into the slot of the slate. Okay, I went ahead and pre-made this portion of for the LEDs here. Drilled my hole in there. I already had everything all cut up here with the 45s on my tile saw on the edges, and I 45'd the edge of that particular pieces too, both those pieces. So I went ahead and soldered the LEDs on, and they're self-adhesive on the back. Went ahead and stuck those in there, and if you look right there, I'll show you in another picture here the reason why I've got that chopped out right there. Okay, there it is, chopped out again there. And the reason for that is because of my solder joint. So when I went to lay these slate pieces down, that's going to actually hold the glass in place. When it sat on top of the little solder weld there, it was holding those pieces up. So I went ahead and just chopped that out a little bit just to make room for that. There's a top view. and I used epoxy putty actually on these, so I'm going to try this out and see how it holds up. It's supposed to be some good stuff. If it proves to be worthwhile, I'll do a quick little video on it and show you what I'm using. But for right now, I let it set up for about a half an hour, and it's pretty sturdy. Okay, here's those pieces that I had showed you earlier of the sticky back felt. I can go ahead and fit the glass down in there, and then I'll take a razor knife and I can just go ahead and score that right there along that edge, and take the excess off, and it gives it a nice little fit is what this does here. So let me go back here just a second. In order to get that thickness there while the putty's still a little bit soft, I stuck the glass in there with the felt to get a good tight fit in there. Okay, yeah, so I went ahead and just lopped that off there. Okay, and then I wanted to test the piece and make sure that that it all worked. Actually, I did that before, but that's just another photo there. Now on the back side, what I did was after I drilled my hole, I took it back over to my wet saw and ran it through about I don't know, about 1/4 of an inch. Ran it through the width of the blade a couple times for that cord to fit in there, and what ends up happening is we'll glue that in, hot glue that in. Sometimes I'll take a piece of felt and just stick on the back side of this so it's got a nice soft bottom to it. In this case, I just use bumpers on it, and you can hot glue those down because this, with the heat and everything else, if you just put a little dab of hot glue on those, these hold up pretty good. So there's the finished product again, and that's just a quick little tutorial on how to make these. They're really simple if you have the right tools. So look forward to any questions or comments, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.